Hi everyone, Casual Mark here today from ebikeReviews.com.au, and today we'll be looking at the BH Neo City. Now I've come pretty familiar with some of the BH Neo bikes because I've ridden a few of them now, so I sort of know what to expect from a lot of them. Today we're looking at the City, and it's similar to the Street, however not exactly the same as the Neo Street. It has 700c wheels. I know in the last video I said 700cc. I was thinking petrol and combustion and things like that. 700c wheel. It's a city commuter, so very comfortable to ride, very enjoyable, very relaxed seating position. You know, your back's upright, and it's just a great bike to ride if it's just casual riding. You can see that I'm wearing my jeans today, and when I'm on the Carbon or on the Jumper or on some of these other bikes that I've tested, I'm always sort of wearing loose pants and making sure that I have enough swing in my leg to swing the swing in my leg. Pants need to be a bit loose so I can swing my leg over and sit down on the bike, whereas this, it's got a step over, so you can just throw your leg over and not have to worry about breaking your leg trying to get onto your bike. So for people that are commuting, and you got to really think about what you're wearing, this bike's great. Some people say, hey, look, it looks a bit feminine. You've got just that drop bar and that's it. But when I was riding it, no one was really looking and saying, hey mate, you're on a chick's bike. No one was really saying any of that stuff. So for those that are worried that it looks too feminine, I don't think that's a point you should be concerned about. It does come in a large. That's the other thing. I was given the medium. I'm 183 centimeters, and I was finding it was just right at 103. So if you're a bit taller than that, or if you want to sort of play it safe, I found that I did have to adjust the steering and the seat a bit. But once I did, I think anything above 183 centimeters, you really have to start considering the large frame. The Neo City Street, which has a 26-inch rim, only comes in the medium. So that's something that you might have to consider if you're trying to decide between the two. So there's some features on this bike that I'll quickly just talk about, and some cool new features that we haven't seen on the other BH Neo bikes. So one of the great features that I want to talk about of the BH Neo City is the adjustable handlebars. So flicking this lever up and then pulling up on this will actually unlock the handlebars, and you can change the angle of the handlebars, and you can also lift it up and pull it sort of more towards you, and it locks in very securely and it won't move at all after that. So I love that adjustment because you can adjust the seat and adjust the handlebars really how to suit you. And my wife as well, when she rides the bike, if she doesn't like how the bike feels for her, she can easily adjust it, and the seat does have a quick release, so it's not something you're going to have to sit there with a wrench and adjust. So something very practical and very quick to do. Now I just want to talk about the seat quickly. I have complained of the seats that are on some of the BH Neo bikes like the Carbon and the Cross, the Jumper, but the seat on the BH Neo City and on the Street as well are comfort seats, and they've got little shock absorbers on the bottom of the seat. Now it still is a hardtail bike, only has front suspension, but the seat's actually quite comfortable, and I just found that it really complemented the bike, and it's not something you would need to change, as I did mention on some of the other bikes in the BH range. So another cool feature of the bike is that it comes with a Shimano dynamo hub. What that means is that as you're pedaling or as you're riding along, that hub is actually charging or sending a current to your front light and to your rear light. So these lights aren't actually running off the battery. And what I actually did is, after I rode for about 30 minutes or so, I disconnected the battery and I tested the light, and the light was actually still coming on, as well as the rear light. It's a cool little feature. And generally, I mean, bike lights don't usually take that much power unless you're over 500 or 1000 lumens. But I mean, it's good to have. The rating of the front light I'm not aware of, but I'm guessing it's something not more powerful than say 300 lumens or so. But it was enough for commuting at night. So I spoke about the front dynamo hub. Sorry. Now that's the rear lights. It's a nice little integrated feature there. The rear light doesn't have a power button like the front light. So after cycling for about 30 minutes or so, when I hopped off, I turned the front light on, but the rear light stayed on. Like I said, I disconnected the battery and it was still running because obviously it runs off the front dynamo hub. So it would have been nice to maybe see a button in there, but like people that drive Mercedes-Benz and BMWs and leave their right or left parking light on when they've gotten out of the car to alert traffic that, hey, I'm driving a Merc and I've parked on the side of the road. Maybe that's why BH left this light on. Now the electronics are still the same across the BH Neo range. So you still get a 9 amp hour battery. It's still the same charger. It's still going to take you just as long to charge the battery as the other bikes. It is a bit heavier, but the components on this bike are really set up to be a commuter bike. So what you come to expect from a high quality commuting bike you get. So you're going to get your chain guards, you're going to get your front and rear mud guards, you're going to get your front and rear lights as well. These are all standard features that you'd come to expect. You know, you're going to get a kickstand. However, that's not really a big deal. You get kickstands with a lot of commuter bikes. You do have V-brakes on this bike, not disc brakes. I did find that the V-brakes were, you know, more than adequate for the bike. There was nothing wrong with them at all. So some people are like, oh, you know, it's got to have disc brakes on it because that's what everyone has these days. These V-brakes, you know, were more than enough. You've got a pannier rack as well, and you're given strap downs. And your strap downs aren't, you know, just typical hooks that you put under a piece of steel, but they've been integrated well to have a square socket that they actually slip into. Everything has just been very well integrated for a commuter bike. And I can say that if I had this bike, there's absolutely nothing. If I was looking for a bike to, you know, ride to work in, or just go on a casual Sunday ride with my family, and I wasn't really doing anything more than, you know, cycle paths and riding to work, I'd be buying something like this, or possibly the Neo Street if I was a smaller frame, or I had a preference for 26-inch wheels, and I wouldn't change an absolute thing on the bike. I think everything on this bike just works so well together. So one thing that I like doing is putting the bike through certain tests. I put a whole bunch of sensors on the bike, and hopefully that helps the people that are watching get a better feel of, you know, how much effort did Mark have to put going up that steep hill, or what's the top speed I can reach pedaling hard, or what's the top speed I can reach hardly pedaling. So next, in the next video, you'll be able to see some of that footage. But what I found is that the torque that this bike produced was typical of some of the other BH Neo bikes that I rode, and it's excellent. I've yet to come across one hill that actually struggled to go up on any of the BH Neo bikes.
Okay, so 122, very relaxed at the moment, just cruising as you would on the way to work, for example. And let's see how we go. So my cadence will go up because I've got it in the lowest gear, but I'm really putting in minimal effort. I mean, I'm just pedaling. I can really hear the motor straining, but it's definitely helping. I mean, you see people all the time with bikes like this, pushing them up the hill. Now we have it, very torquey. And my heart rate did go up, so I was putting in a little bit of effort, but not sweating or anything. If you want to compare it to something, you'd probably compare it to the last bike I just tested, because we were measuring heart rate then, and I think my heart rate got up to about 178 with assist all the way up. So that was pretty good. So it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm guessing there'll be a lot of people, so that'll make me test the brake. So my heart rate's 119, it's pretty good. It's pretty low. Now I'm expecting this to taper off assistance at about 27 kilometers an hour, like all the other BH Neos. And it does. It's about 26, 27 kilometers an hour. So you can really feel the motor just cut out power. You can see my heart rate, cadence is low. Heart rate's pretty good as well. You know, I'm not panting or anything. Now the brakes that I want to talk about, now these are V brakes. So everyone that gets this bike or is looking at this bike might say, oh, you know, it doesn't have hydraulic brakes. Look, V brakes are still on a lot of bikes, and they're still, you know, sold all over the world. These are pretty good. I have no complaints. You know, I wouldn't change them if I bought this bike. You don't need the stopping power of hydraulic brakes on this bike. All I would have done is put up the cost of this bike and not added any real benefit. I mean, it's a commuter bike. Why do you need hydraulic disc brakes for? You know, comfort commuter bike, you don't need it. So I'm on the very last gear here. You can see my cadence is very low because of it. And the torque sensor in this case is so reliable because I've ridden bikes before where I'm going up a hill that are pedal assisted sensors, so they're measuring rotations of the crank, you know, through a magnet of sorts, and you'll go up a hill, and because your rotations get so slow, it actually cuts out assistance. So there you are trying to go up a hill, motor cuts out on you, and what happens, you stop or you stack it. So that's the good thing about having a torque sensor, is that in cases like that where your cadence really slows down, it's still detecting a lot of tension on the chain, the torque sensor that is, and it'll continue assisting you. And you know, it's going to be the same. It's not just this bike, it's a lot of the bikes that have torque sensors. They're actually measuring the tension on the chain, so it's more of a reliable way for the motor, you know, to know when it's going to need to switch on and help you out. So I'm still on boost. I've done 22.2 kilometers, and sorry, no I haven't. I've done 18.2 kilometers, and I've lost 3 bars of battery out of a possible 5. So once again, going up a hill, highest gear, you know, I'm doing 18 kilometers up this hill. I mean, it's 5%, but this is the type of hill you could probably expect on the way to work, possibly. You know, in a lot of inner streets in the city, something around the 5, maybe 7% grade. If you have higher, then you can compare it to some of the hills that I tackled earlier. But once again, cadence low, heart rate pretty, you know, I'm not putting in a lot of effort, so it's pretty low for me. And it's just powering up this hill, you know, 18 kilometers an hour. It's a great little motor. I shouldn't say little, but it's a great motor. Yeah, pedal assisted bike, so no throttle. I know in the States, in America, they release these bikes with throttle on the right. These don't have throttle. Just a great feeling bike, you know. The electric bikes, when I first sort of knew about them, I thought they were a lazy man's bike. You know, they're not going to improve your fitness. It's cheating. But what you end up realizing is it's just an extension of your own body, and it helps you get out more. Excuse me. Thanks. As I was saying, just an extension of your body, you know, it makes you ride more. And that's what, you know, people, I mean, riding is all about. It's to get out there more and just enjoy riding, whether it's, you know, winter or summer. You know, you can turn this into a bike, a normal bike without a motor. You know, you can turn assistance off, and then you can just, you know, if you don't want to break a sweat, you can also turn the motor on and put it on boost. So it's an extension of a normal bike. It doesn't take away from what a bike, well, my personal opinion is, it doesn't take away from a bike that's non-electric. It's whatever a non-electric bike offers, plus more.
Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, see you later, alligator.